Namaste, a very warm welcome to today's Maitreya platform. Who better than my dearest friend today here, Ekta Jain? Well, it's a long association with me and her together. We did our Montessori course together. From then on, it's on and off. We were in touch, but then, recently I think we've got in touch with the same topic, with the same platform, spirituality and energy healing and yoga and stuff like that. I'm extremely happy that you're here today, Ekta, with so much of commitments. You made time for this. Very happy that you're here today.
Thank you so much, Smita, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this wonderful community that you've created. So namaste to everybody. Greetings from me.
Thank you. Namaste. Talking about Ekta, well, she wears many hats: a Montessori educator, energy healer, tarot and oracle card reader, and most importantly, this hat is important. Is a mother of two lovely kids. She started her career as a Montessori adult and worked for around 5 years. Being a parent taught her a lot about herself in the quest to be a better parent. She started her spiritual journey then. She's a Reiki Master, Karuna Reiki Master, IET Level 3, practitioner, energy practitioner, tarot and oracle card reader. Well, she's also conducted several mala making workshops, and she creates custom malas for her clients. She's continuing her studies from the United States with her teacher, Jessica Kozak. Well, I am surprised and amazed that you have so many hats, Ekta. And yeah, the most important hat, like you said, a parent. You did say in your introduction that it changed, the motherhood changed you as a person, changed your sense of spirituality, if I can put it that way. Can you throw light on this, please?
Sure. So when initially I was trained as a Montessori adult, I didn't have, other than taking care of myself, didn't have any other responsibility. So it was very easy to say that, okay, kids should not have screen time and this is how you should engage them. And you have this whole picture of how you would be as a parent. Yes. Till I had my son, who still is somebody who keeps me on my toes, an extremely active child. Mm-hmm. And mentally, he's always creating something or the other on the go. Mm-hmm. And when I became a parent to him, I realized the lack of sleep, the amount of commitment. It's very easy when you're working as a teacher because you have the children for certain hours. Not that it's any, not saying that it's not, that doesn't take a lot of efforts or things like that. Mm-hmm. But, you have them for a certain period and then they go away. But this is your kids who are there with you 24/7. There's no holidays, there's no break.
Absolutely.
So when I went through that experience, I realized so much about myself in terms of how do I manage my emotions, my anger management issues. Many a times what happens is under the pressure of I tried so hard to be a perfect parent. And in that whole process, there multiple times my ego got very crushed because there were many times I was not able to connect with my child, and for me, I was like, I have done this all my life. I've always been the person who takes care of the kids, and that's what motivated me to go ahead and become a Montessori teacher. Mm-hmm. And further my education and my skills of being around with children and nurture these little ones. So that experience of being a mother really taught me so much about myself and where I am. And that's how I started my spiritual journey, understanding that I cannot teach my child anger management and handling his emotions till I don't know what it is myself to deal with my own emotions. Absolutely. So to say that it really took me to dive into shadow work. Mm-hmm. And that's when I actually understood, okay, there's not just light, there's darkness, and you need to know both.
True.
And it's the side of same coins, and this is what life is. Duality will always exist, and the goal is not to destroy duality, or the goal is to accept duality, that both exist. So yeah, that's what my journey has been like, it's still continuing. Yes. It's never ending.
It is so nice to hear, someone who's so honest and who's so practical in a way that, yes, this is my flaw. I need to change it. I need to change my behavior. I mean, putting the blame on others is very easy. yeah, to take something on to yourself and give that, a next step or next leverage for that matter of parenthood or spirituality, what you call, it's amazing to hear that from you. Ekta, coming to the energy healing, what exactly is energy healing, and how do you associate that with the mala you create, with the mala you make?
So if we talk about energy, all of us are nothing but dust particles with space in between. And that is such a humbling aspect of us. But at the same time, what we don't realize is that we function with so much of ego. And also based on our unhealed egos, we collect a lot of experiences, traumatic experiences, one after the other, which come in our way of experiencing life to its fullest. So that's where energy healing really helps you to be able to experience life to the fullest, not try to control it, not try to manipulate it, not try to make it what you want it to be, but to accept it with what it is, flow. And that flow of life, to be in that flow state is the state that we all strive for. So that's where energy healing really works to me. It's extremely important because it helps you to heal your ego. And thus, with every layer you heal, you shift from an unhealed ego to a healed ego.
The energy. Well, some people in life, when they feel lost, they don't know where to go. Should they go to the energy healer? Should they go to the astrologer? Should they go to a psychiatrist? Or what, a counselor? What exactly, which path to choose?
So I feel like when it comes to being lost, all of us experience this sense of being lost at multiple times and various different phases in our life.
Yes.
It's a very natural state to be in. This is a constant juggle that we go through in our completely life. And like you mentioned, there are so many tools. And the reason why we have so many tools is because not one thing works for a person, and not one thing works all the time for the same person. So maybe an astrology reading gave me an insight. And the beauty is each one is giving you a piece of the puzzle that you can then put together. So I would really say is, if astrology reading is something that you have done and and you see that it's not helping you or not giving you the result, then that's a good time to start looking at different ways. And it's obviously very nice when you go to somebody and talk to them, because once you, or even journaling, if to be able to talk to somebody, because till you do not acknowledge what is going on, it's hard. It doesn't make sense. No matter what you try, it's not going to give you the results. So the first place to start is to pour it out so you can see what is happening and acknowledge, yes, I need help. Yes. This is not working for me. That acceptance is the first part. And once you've acknowledged that, then it becomes easy to identify what will be the best way to help you.
So the gemstone, when a person, usually they do have this doubts of, will it work? Will it not work, ma'am? Will it work? So this self-doubt, how do you deal with such things? People who are not confident in your therapy, or they are not confident in themselves, if I can put it that way.
So most of the time, what I have noticed is that it's a very common thing, people who are able to move ahead and people who have not been able to move ahead. The only difference is not that they are very, they're very sure of where they're going. They're unsure, but in spite of that, they still show up and move ahead.
True.
So that is the difference. So what I have noticed with most of the clients that I've worked with is that the people who had the most number of concerns whether it will work or not have actually been the people who have experienced the most amount of benefit. Which has been very interesting for me, because I have asked them just to do one thing, that it's okay, anyway it's not going to work. So that's said and done.
Okay.
How about now that it's not going to work, just keep with an open mind saying that what if there is, so there's 99% it's not going to work, we're clear, but there's this 1%. What if we just shift our focus from this 99% that it's not going to work to this 1% that maybe this could work? That's all I ask. To just, so it's very important to first just open to the mind, saying that there could be a possibility that this could work. I'm not telling you to accept it. I'm not asking you to change your belief. No, because it doesn't make sense. Right now, your belief is helping you serve an insecurity that you have, because it's protecting you. it's creating a barrier.
Mm-hmm.
So it's doing its job.
Mm-hmm.
There's no point of trying to break that down, because then a person is going to be in a state where they're not balanced, and that's not what we're trying to do over here.
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing I ask them is that let's just see this 1% of saying maybe this could work, and let's see. And that's when I've noticed that once you open that door,
True.
it just opens
It opens up.
It opens up everything.
Yeah, I totally can, relate to whatever you're telling. Now, Ekta, I find you a person with very strong intuition. So basically, when a person approaches to you, when they even talk to you, you can figure out what kind of a personality they are and what kind of a transition they're looking at. So for people who are energy healers or people who meditate and in the field of yoga, like myself, what advice would you want to give to people to have this strong intuition, to build up their intuition strong like how you have?
No, I really appreciate you complimenting on that. To me, one, yes, there is a part of the intuition gift that I'm blessed with. I've done multiple astrological readings, and there's another interesting method of reading which is called as human design. And mine happened to be such that I'm blessed with a very strong intuition. But that is one thing. But that does not mean that you have to be born to be intuitive. All of us are intuitive. This is how we are all programmed. The issue is that why we are not able to connect to our intuition, or rather the gut feeling. To put it in a simple term, your intuition is nothing but your gut feeling.
Yes.
It's because there are multiple layers of healing that is required. And there's a disconnect between the mind, body, and soul, because of which you're not able to tap into your own intuition, which is guiding you constantly. Because all of us have this GPS fixed in us, which is telling us the direction we are supposed to move ahead.
Yeah, true.
So it's simple as that. The first step that I usually share with everybody is to get in touch with yourself. Till you do not get in touch with yourself, you're not going to be able to build the skill set.
Maybe you mean to say, is it meditation, getting in touch with ourselves?
Correct. It's spending time in solitude with yourself. It can either be in a form of meditation, or it could be just spending quiet time. It could just be a 5-minute quiet time where you're not thinking about anything else, but just being with yourself, just existing, just being in the present moment, grounding yourself in the now. So that's what I mean. It could be even journaling. Even that's a beautiful way of how people connect with themselves.
Yes.
Journaling is also a form of meditation. Being with yourself, meditating with a mala, journaling. They're all different ways of how you are being in the present moment, connecting with yourself at that time.
True.
So that is what I would really suggest. The next thing, the second thing that really works is physical movement. So go out in the nature, going for walks. If you're not in a place, especially in a place like Bangalore, everywhere it's a concrete jungle.
Yes.
So to even see a tree nowadays, gone are those days where we could see greenery.
Absolutely.
So I understand that. Even just going out for a walk or doing yoga or dancing, just play music and just dance and move your hips, move your body. That also is another form of meditation that helps you connect. And then when you have, when you have some time on hand, make that extra effort to go to a place where there's nature around. That is a beautiful place where it helps you to connect with the nature, and that helps you to remind, it helps you remind the true nature of who you are.
Yes.
And that's where you are able to connect with yourself, and then start listening to that voice that you've ignored for so long.
Absolutely. Ekta, this is a question where most of my clients do ask me during yoga sessions. When I say set up a strong intention, they are like, what should I, have a strong intention to be like? I'm lost. Should I have a thought on this or family or work, or what is my priority? Even that setting up a strong intention is extremely important, right? So
setting up an intention is completely important. It's like I'm sitting in the car and I'm saying that I don't mind going anywhere. If I don't know where I want to go, then the car will go wherever the car wants to go. But when I know that this is the destination I want to go, then that's where exactly the car will go. Otherwise, I'm going to go for a ride, which is going to be all over the place. And that is why setting an intention is so important, because that sets your path. It sets your direction in which you need to move. And I came across this wonderful saying that if you don't make things a priority, then somebody else will make a priority. Somebody else, you will be living somebody else's priority.
Absolutely.
And that's not the experience that we are here for. And that's not the life that if you don't want to choose that life for you, and you want to live a life where you want to experience the things which you choose, then setting an intention is a very important step.
Yes.
And yes, initially it's not going to come so easily. Like we've addressed this before, because of the multiple layers of programming that each one have gone through, based on where we come from the background.
Is it setting up intention? Is it how badly you want that? Maybe, for example, if I want to go to destination A or B in destination A. So is it that how badly I want to be there, or is it the passion that helps the intention?
What I've noticed is many a time, since it's so out there for understanding what intention to do, people just go by something like, oh, intention means something that I really badly want, and that's what I should go for.
True.
And then there are other kind of people saying, no, I need to follow my passion, my heart, right?
Absolutely.
So there are two, and then there are different ways of how people go. The way I address this as whatever works, just start off with that.
Okay.
Once you set foot on that path, you will start realizing, is it coming from an ego part? Is it coming from an unhealed, is it yours? Is it somebody else's? Where is this intention coming from? Because only if it's something that will serve you, will that manifest. If it's and when it's going to be manifest, again, there are rules and regulations of the universe as to how things will manifest. They have to be at a certain energy level. They have to be at a certain vibration. So if I would say that today, I want to start being a person who earns, say, 100,000 crores, then I have to be at that vibration to be able to start doing that. A lot of people don't understand that aspect. Now, to be able to get there, somewhere you need to start. So whatever your intention, for whatever reason it may be, as long as it's an intention where it's not to cause harm to someone else and it's not causing harm to you, I feel it's a good place to start, because only when you start can you understand and fine tune it.
Yeah, thank you for that. Now, how do we know if we are going to choose the right gemstone? I mean to say, there are genuine gemstones, there are a lot of fake gemstones available in the market today. So as a healer, as a spiritual guide, how do you kind of recognize which one is genuine?
So I've really learned through working with different crystals and realizing so there are laboratories where you can get them tested. But if you're just buying a little, it doesn't make sense. So the quick route that I have understood of how to work with them is, say if you're touching a crystal, it's usually a little cooler than materials like that are made out of plastic, or there are different kinds of materials, or lab generated ones. They do not seem to have this quality of changing, based on the temperature where they are at. They will be at a constant temperature. So by touching that instantly, is one way of it. The other way is then the glass and the original one would be somewhere similar, because glass does change
temperature. Yes.
Based on that. So that normally what I would suggest is that by smashing it, you would get to know the difference, because till you don't smash, you would. So at least one bead, you can take
like
one
a sample.
Bead, just take a sample and smash it. So that helps you really understand whether this is glass bead or this is an original crystal bead. The other way that you realize is by looking at the colors. If you notice that the beads have a consistent color, because anything which is natural, if you see in the nature, does not have a constant color in it. There's a little variation which will be there. Even if you look at the leaves of a tree, they're not all of the same size. There's variation in it, right? So that's the nature law. So when you look at the beads and you find like this is just too perfect, then that's definitely man-made. Yeah.
So you did tell me the procedure of how how you string a mala. So the intuition part and the intention part, but what exactly goes in your mind?
So anything that is made, since we all are energy, anything we do, our energy does get associated to it, right? So even when we are creating a mala, it's most important to have I call it as a state of purity. And what is that is, the food that you take, that impacts a lot in your energy. Then your practice of meditation, your practice of being non-judgmental and accepting things for what they are. So there's certain code that comes which every healer follows to be able to have the ability to hold the space. So that work is anyway done. Apart from that, what is important is the intention with which the person is also making. So I always make sure when I'm start to creating a mala, I do a lot of bhakti and I do a lot of meditation to help me to step out of my ego and to be in a place so that I'm, able to serve the intention for which the client has come to me to make a mala.
How do you balance everything so well? As a mom, as a working woman, as an entrepreneur, as a healer? I mean, there are a lot of hats which you definitely wear. So I would want to definitely ask you, how do you balance everything so well?
No, I really appreciate you praising that. But honestly speaking, it's not like I know all. But the biggest belief that I have is I want to learn. I think this is something which I learned from a good friend of mine. And she said that every night I empty my glass. So in the morning, I start afresh. And to me, that has stuck on to me. And I've realized that every day I look at life from a beginner's point of view. Every day is a new day, and new day brings new learning. I can only learn new things if I unlearn. And I start off with a beginner's mind, like a fresh blank slate. And that is what I've realized has really helped me. Not that I do not have chaos in my mind, not that I know everything. No, I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. And if being perfection is again another thing that I had to let go and realize that it's an unhealed ego, because the truth is nothing is perfect.
Yes, absolutely.
What is important is to understand intention. What is your intention of whatever you're doing? That has been my biggest learning and biggest take. And my approach to every single that I do is to approach it from a beginner's mind, not from a point of view that I know it. Because no matter how much you know, and if you're a true learner, you realize the more you know, the more you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Like nothing, kind of. How do you deal with failures? I mean, not you in particular, a client, for example, or a person who is lost. So with no hope, do you literally feel that his problem or her problem is your problem, and kind of really want to help that person, and how to bring that whole thing that yes, failure is a phase where everybody goes through it. So how do you help people go through this phase?
There's multiple times I have myself gone through phases where I have called them as failure, because I've been a person who's always tried for perfection. And it's been a learning in my life to understand that what I think as a failure, there's nothing as success and there's nothing as failure. They're only learning curves, because you're constantly learning. Absolutely. And by shifting that perspective, it really helped me in my personal life, in my personal journey, to stop striving for perfection.
Any key words or any key aspects that you want to tell people right now as to if they're feeling they're failed in life?
I would say definitely reach out to a coach or a healer, book yourself a session, make yourself a priority. That's most important. And go seek that help. And once you seek for that help, just walk in. You don't have to do anything. Just walk into the doors or walk into the office of a healer or a counselor. And then you will start seeing magic unfolding in your life.
So one last question. How do you define success and happiness?
Happiness to me is when I'm in the state of flow. That is happiness to me. That is, I'm not trying to control anything. I'm not wanting an outcome to be in a certain way. But I'm open to the universe saying that this is me showing up. And I know you will only take me in the direction that serves me best. So basically, like to be like the river that flows through any obstacle. So for me, that is to be in a state of happiness when I'm in the state of flow. And success to me is, that's a very important question, right?
Take your time.
It is something that I have learned and unlearned over time. Initially, it used to be that success is, if you're doing, if you're not certain labels that you're wearing, right?
Absolutely.
And that was considered as success.
Mm-hmm.
And for a very long time, I operated from that aspect. Like, I'm not working, I'm a homemaker, I'm not successful. I had certain ambitions, I'm not doing those ambitions, I'm doing something else in life, I'm not successful. Till I met a very dear friend of mine, Ju Yeon, her name is, who's from Korea. And she was 36 at that time, and I was I was in my late 20s, and I had my first child. And she said, what do you do? And I said, I just have one child and I'm a homemaker, like nothing else. Like I'm nothing,
that's
based
what
on the label, based on the
common
programming.
answer. Yeah.
Exactly. And I was like, never mind, don't ask me anything. It's very uncomfortable because I have nothing nice to share. Like I'm a CEO, or I'm doing this, whatever. I'm no fancy tag, right? And she said, why do you think that? To me, you're the most successful person. And I just looked at her for a minute and I was like, you have a family, you have a husband, you have a wonderful, healthy child. You've been able to have the experience of being a mother, where so many people strive, work hard for it. And that just opened so why do you think that you're not successful then? And that just opened my eyes, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
I never
so
thought
true.
that. And from then onwards, my definition of success became to be able to have a balance. You need all these aspects, to be financially independent, to be able to have something you call as your purpose work, which helps you to serve the community, to be to be able to be of service to the community, to have something that is your passion that drives you, and also to have a family, to have something for yourself. And the other thing is to have an environment, right, where you feel safe, because if you don't have those, you don't feel safe, and you cannot show up for your work till you don't have all these aspects. Basically, it's not a whole. It's not a view where you're looking at yourself from a perspective of wholeness, right? And that has become now my definition of success. That I need work, I need financial freedom, I need my family, I need a community, I need a support system. I need all this. And when I have all this in my life, some can be 30%, some can be 40%. It can vary from person to person.
Absolutely.
But when you have all this aspect, that to me is a success. So when I see from that perspective, it's like every day I'm successful.
Wow, that's so nice to hear. I mean, it's so feeling content and satisfied with what you have and what you're doing. Oh God, that's the most successful person, I think.
Because it's very important to understand you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Then if you're exactly where you're supposed to be, then you're successful. And all of us are. It's just the way we look at it. It's just the perspective that has to shift. And for me, it was my friend who helped me make that shift in that perspective, to realize that I am successful.
Wow, I think she came in the right time.
She did. Yeah. She really did, because I was struggling. I was really struggling with my image and what my plans were from the Montessori and the course and being perfect and, have a vision, go for your vision, to realizing, okay, life threw lemons at me. Let's make lemonades. And now I'm successfully running a lemonade business.
Oh, wow, Ekta. Oh God, I am feeling so happy after today's talk. I mean, I can't even tell you, because it's so, that satisfied feeling, content feeling is definitely the one, that makes you successful, that makes you happy, that makes you happier day by day. I think it's been a wonderful, wonderful talk. Thank you for your precious time, Ekta. I mean, it's
so much for your time, for taking this time out to talk to me.
Absolutely. Thank you to your time, Ekta. I mean, you've made a lot of important key points and, aspects where everybody goes through certain things, and it's common, it's normal to go through, and you did tell your own story. So Maitra is nothing that own your story. So you've definitely done that. You've put your story right in front of us. I wish you all the very success. Stay connected and do the good work that you're doing, and make my mala soon. I'm waiting.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. It was wonderful, as usual, to connect with you.
Thank you, Ekta. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.